Have you ever wondered what truly changes when you turn 65? It's not just about the wrinkles on your face or the wisdom in your heart. It's about how you see the world, your time, and the people around you. Aging is often viewed with apprehension, but what if it could be seen as a profound, liberating chapter? In this video, we'll dive deep into the transformative lessons that life teaches us at 65. From discovering the irreplaceable value of time to reevaluating relationships and embracing the quiet power of solitude, this stage of life offers clarity and freedom like never before. We'll explore why avoiding certain people isn't about bitterness, but about protecting your peace, and how this newfound perspective can open the door to genuine joy and deeper connections. Stick around, because these insights might not just change how you think about aging, they might inspire you to live more authentically, no matter your stage of life. If you've ever felt the pull to simplify, reflect, and truly savor each moment, this video is for you. If you haven't joined our community yet, I invite you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you're always up to date with our latest content. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's discussion. If you find this content helpful, drop a 1 in the comments below. If it doesn't quite resonate with you, leave a 0. Your feedback is invaluable. It helps me craft videos that better suit your interests and needs. Now let's dive right in. Time is an irreplaceable asset. This truth becomes clearer as we age, yet it's often overlooked in our younger years. When you're 20, time feels infinite, a commodity to be spent frivolously. But as the decades roll on, you begin to realize that every moment is finite, precious, and worth savoring. At 65, time is no longer something you take for granted. It transforms into a trusted companion, reminding you to treasure the minutes that remain. With age comes a profound shift in how you view time. In your youth, it seemed like an endless reservoir. Days could stretch on forever, and nights held infinite possibilities. But now, each morning feels like a gift, an opportunity to rediscover the beauty in life's simplest pleasures. Imagine waking early to watch the sunrise, its gentle light spilling over the horizon and painting the world in warm hues. You sit with your coffee, inhaling its earthy aroma, feeling the heat of the cup against your hands, and everything else fades away. These small, quiet rituals transform into sacred moments that ground you in the present. It's not just about enjoying these moments, but also choosing how to spend the rest of your time. Decisions become more deliberate, driven by a desire to invest in what truly matters. You find yourself prioritizing family over fleeting distractions, opting for a long conversation with your children or grandchildren instead of a noisy gathering. Health becomes a cornerstone, as the strength to walk, breathe, and live freely feels more precious than ever. And your passions, the hobbies you once considered indulgent, suddenly feel like lifelines, offering purpose and joy. This intentionality isn't always easy. There's a certain guilt that comes with saying no to invitations or stepping away from commitments that once defined your life. Perhaps you were the person everyone depended on, the life of the party, or the reliable family member who never said no. Letting go of those expectations feels selfish at first, but with time, you realize it's an act of self-preservation. Protecting your energy and peace doesn't mean you care less. It means you value your time enough to share it wisely. Time also brings clarity about the futility of waste. You no longer have patience for shallow conversations, relationships that drain you, or activities that bring no joy or growth. In its place, you've learned to embrace solitude, allowing yourself the freedom to reflect and grow. It's in this stillness that you often find the greatest revelations about who you are, what you want, and how you wish to spend your remaining days. Think about how this change impacts your relationships. A crowded room full of acquaintances can no longer compare to a quiet evening spent with someone who knows you deeply. The simple exchange of shared memories, laughter, and unspoken understanding carries far more weight than being surrounded by faces you barely know. Quality over quantity isn't just a mantra. It's a necessity when every moment counts. But how do we let go of the past without feeling regret? The answer lies in shifting our mindset. Instead of mourning the years you may have spent chasing unattainable goals or pleasing others, you start celebrating the lessons those years taught you. Every mistake, every moment of lost time was part of your journey. Now, you get to decide how to use the time that remains, whether it's building stronger bonds with loved ones, exploring new hobbies, or simply finding peace within yourself. Perhaps the most beautiful gift of time is its ability to teach you the art of presence. When you stop worrying about what's next, you allow yourself to fully inhabit the present. You begin to notice the small details, the way leaves rustle in the breeze, the softness of your favorite blanket, or the sound of a loved one's laughter. These moments, though fleeting, become treasures that outshine even the grandest milestones of your younger years. As you sit with the gift of time today, take a moment to ask yourself, what will you choose to cherish? Who will you spend your time with? And how will you honor the minutes, hours, and days you've been given? The answers to these questions hold the key to living a life filled with purpose and gratitude. Time, after all, is not something to be conquered or controlled. It is a companion to walk with, a gentle reminder to cherish the journey rather than the destination. It whispers, softly but firmly, that every second is a chance to connect, to love, and to simply be. Time has a way of revealing what truly matters, and relationships are no exception. As we age, the bonds we share with others evolve, teaching us who to hold close and when to let go. In the next section, we'll explore how relationships shift with time, and how embracing this change can bring deeper meaning to our connections. Not all relationships are meant to last forever, and that's okay. This realization often comes with age, bringing with it a sense of peace. In youth, relationships often feel like the foundation of our identity. We surround ourselves with friends, colleagues, neighbors, and acquaintances, all vying for attention and significance. But as time passes, the reality becomes clearer. Not every connection is built to endure. And that doesn't make those relationships any less valuable. It simply means their purpose in our lives has been fulfilled. Over the years, life has a way of naturally pruning our social circles. People move away, priorities shift, and circumstances change. The friendships that once seemed unshakable sometimes fade, not because of animosity, but because life pulls us in different directions. At first, these changes can feel like losses. We might question what we could have done differently, or mourn the bond that once was. But with time, we begin to see that the people who remain are often the ones who truly matter, those who are willing to grow and evolve with us. This shift in relationships is not about failure, it's about transformation. As we age, the focus turns from quantity to quality. The days of juggling a large social calendar filled with superficial interactions are replaced by an appreciation for deeper, more meaningful connections. A long conversation with a lifelong friend, where laughter and shared memories bring comfort, becomes far more fulfilling than the fleeting excitement of a crowded gathering. It's not about how many people surround you, but about how genuinely they see and understand you. Consider the way family relationships often evolve over time. As children grow into adults, the dynamics between parents and offspring change. What once was a bond defined by guidance and dependence transforms into a partnership of mutual respect and shared history. For example, a mother who spent years offering advice might now find herself sitting with her adult child, exchanging wisdom as equals. These moments remind us that relationships are not static, they shift and adapt as we do. Friendships, too, undergo profound changes. In your 20s and 30s, you might have maintained dozens of connections, driven by a desire to belong or be seen. But at 65, the true value of friendship becomes clear. It's not about being popular or keeping up appearances, it's about having a few trusted people who uplift and support you. These are the friends who check in during difficult times, who share your joys without envy, and who offer their presence without expectation. They become anchors in a world that often feels unsteady. Yet, even as we cherish these enduring bonds, there's often a bittersweet pang when reflecting on relationships that have faded. A childhood friend who felt like family, but has drifted away. A sibling who has taken a different path. These changes are reminders of life's impermanence. But instead of dwelling on what's lost, we can choose to celebrate what those connections once brought to our lives. They were chapters in our story, shaping who we are today, even if their roles are no longer central. Accepting the impermanence of relationships doesn't mean closing ourselves off to new connections. In fact, it often means the opposite. With age comes the wisdom to recognize red flags, set boundaries, and prioritize our well-being. It also brings the courage to open our hearts to people who genuinely enrich our lives. A kind neighbor who offers help during a storm, a new friend who shares your interests. These relationships, though unexpected, can bring fresh joy and perspective. This mindset extends to letting go of guilt. In earlier years, you might have felt obligated to maintain relationships out of loyalty or fear of hurting someone's feelings. But at 65, you realize that genuine connections don't demand constant effort. They flow naturally, without the weight of expectation or obligation. By focusing on the relationships that nurture you, you create space for more love and connection in your life. As we grow older, the beauty of relationships lies in their simplicity. You no longer need to prove yourself or compete for attention. Instead, you find fulfillment in quiet moments of understanding, in shared experiences that deepen over time. You learn to value the people who remain by your side, not for their utility, but for the joy they bring to your life. The evolution of relationships teaches us to appreciate both the connections that endure and the ones that fade. Each serves its purpose, leaving an indelible mark on our journey. As you sit with this understanding, take a moment to reflect on the people who have stood the test of time. They are the ones who see you for who you truly are and love you all the more for it. As relationships evolve, so too does our understanding of trust. In the next section, we'll explore the delicate nature of trust, how it's built, how it's broken, and how it can transform your connections at every stage of life. Trust can be shaken, but it remains the foundation of every meaningful relationship. This universal truth becomes more apparent with age. Trust is the invisible thread that binds us to others, creating bonds that feel unbreakable. Yet, as life unfolds, this thread is tested, sometimes frayed, and occasionally severed. These moments, while painful, hold the potential to teach us profound lessons about resilience and growth. Facing betrayal is one of life's harshest tests. It might come from a friend who prioritizes their gain over loyalty, a business partner who breaks a shared vision, or even a family member whose actions leave a lingering ache of confusion and loss. These experiences can leave deep scars, prompting questions about whether trust is worth giving again. In these moments, it's tempting to retreat, to build walls so high that no one can climb them. But the truth is, shutting out the world only robs you of the joy that trust, even cautiously placed, can bring. Learning from betrayal requires courage. Instead of dwelling on the pain, it helps to focus on the lessons embedded within. Trust is not blind, it is built through careful observation, mutual respect, and consistent actions. When trust is broken, it's an opportunity to redefine your boundaries and recognize the red flags you may have overlooked. It's also a chance to reflect on the strength you possess to move forward, no matter how deeply the betrayal cut. Rebuilding trust is a delicate process, both with others and with yourself. It begins with choosing wisely whom to let into your inner circle. With age comes the wisdom to distinguish between those who enrich your life and those who deplete it. It's not about skepticism, but about discernment. You learn to trust people, not because they're flawless, but because they've proven their reliability in small, consistent ways. And just as importantly, you learn to trust your instincts, those gut feelings that often signal when something isn't right. Trusting yourself is the first step toward creating connections that feel safe and meaningful. There's also power in believing in the goodness of life. Even when trust is shattered, small acts of kindness can restore your faith. A stranger offering a helping hand, a neighbor checking in during bad weather, or a friend's unexpected thoughtfulness. These moments remind us that trust, while fragile, is also resilient. Each act of kindness is like a stitch, mending the fabric of your belief in others. These experiences don't erase past betrayals, but they create space for hope and connection. For example, consider a woman who was deeply hurt by a close friend's dishonesty. It took years for her to open up again, but when she did, she found a new circle of friends who supported her without judgment. This shift didn't just restore her trust in others, it rekindled her trust in herself to make wiser choices about whom to let in. Trust, she learned, isn't about never being hurt, it's about finding the strength to rebuild after you are. At its core, trust is a bridge that connects the past to the present. It allows us to carry forward the lessons of previous experiences while remaining open to new possibilities. Without trust, we risk isolating ourselves, cutting off the potential for growth and connection. But with trust, even cautiously placed, we create opportunities for deeper relationships and richer experiences. The journey to rebuild trust is not easy, but it is worthwhile. It requires vulnerability, strength, and the willingness to see beyond past pain. As you reflect on your own journey, consider this. What lessons has trust taught you? And how can you use those lessons to foster more meaningful connections in your life? While trust anchors relationships, the broader world around us shapes how we interact with others. In the next section, we'll explore how our perceptions of the world change with age and the impact these shifts have on our sense of connection and belonging. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. There's a certain nostalgia that creeps in as you look back on the world of your youth. It was a time when relationships felt closer, warmer, and simpler. Neighbors were like extended family, dropping by unannounced to share a cup of coffee or lend a helping hand. Families gathered not out of obligation, but out of genuine joy, and conversations were leisurely, unhurried by the ticking clock or the buzz of a phone. Those connections didn't require much effort. They existed naturally, like a shared understanding that human connection was a cornerstone of life. Today, the world feels faster, louder, and more fragmented. Technology, while undeniably beneficial, has reshaped how we connect with one another. Social media and instant messaging have replaced the long, heartfelt letters and face-to-face conversations of the past. While it's easier than ever to stay in touch with loved ones across distances, these digital interactions often lack the depth and authenticity of a physical presence. There's something irreplaceable about hearing the nuances in someone's voice or feeling the warmth of their embrace, experiences that screens can never replicate. The pace of modern life adds another layer of complexity. Everyone seems busy, rushing from one task to the next, juggling responsibilities, and chasing goals. This constant motion leaves little room for meaningful relationships. Even within families, the bond can feel stretched thin, diluted by distance, both physical and emotional. It's not uncommon to feel a sense of isolation, even when surrounded by people, as though the noise of modernity drowns out the intimacy we once took for granted. Yet, it would be unfair to dismiss technology entirely. It has brought immense benefits, particularly for older adults. Video calls allow grandparents to see their grandchildren's faces, even if they live miles apart. Social media offers a window into the lives of friends and family, providing updates and glimpses of milestones that might otherwise be missed. For many, these tools have become lifelines, helping to maintain connections in a world that often feels distant. However, the conveniences of technology come with significant drawbacks. The constant hum of notifications, the barrage of news updates, and the endless scrolling can create a sense of overwhelm. Instead of bringing people closer, these distractions can pull us further apart, as we become more engaged with our devices than with the people around us. Technology, in its attempt to simplify connection, sometimes complicates it by reducing relationships to mere transactions or fleeting interactions. This duality of technology challenges us to find balance. How do we embrace its benefits without succumbing to its pitfalls? The answer lies in intentionality. By consciously setting boundaries, such as turning off devices during meals, prioritizing in-person gatherings, or limiting time spent on social media, we can reclaim the depth and authenticity of our relationships. It's about using technology as a tool to enhance connections, rather than letting it replace them. In a rapidly changing world, finding ways to maintain intimacy requires creativity and effort. Perhaps it's as simple as picking up the phone to call a friend instead of sending a text, or taking the time to visit someone instead of liking their photo online. These small gestures can have a profound impact, reminding both you and your loved ones of the value of genuine connection. Change is inevitable, but it doesn't have to mean the loss of what matters most. By adapting to the modern world while holding on to the values of the past, we can create a bridge between eras, a way to honor tradition while embracing progress. It's not about rejecting technology or clinging to nostalgia, but about finding a middle ground where connection thrives. As you navigate this new reality, consider how you can strengthen your ties to others, even amidst the noise of modern life. What small changes can you make to ensure that the relationships you value remain meaningful? These questions are not just about preserving the past, but about building a future where connection, in all its forms, remains at the heart of human experience. While the world around us may evolve, one constant remains: the power of solitude. In the next section, we'll explore how solitude, far from being loneliness, can become a source of strength and serenity as we age. There's a profound distinction between solitude and loneliness, though the two are often mistaken for one another. Loneliness is a void, a longing for connection that feels out of reach. Solitude, on the other hand, is a fullness, a deliberate choice to embrace your own company and the peace it brings. As we age, this realization becomes increasingly important, transforming what might once have been feared into a source of comfort and empowerment. Solitude offers a unique kind of peace that is difficult to find elsewhere. Imagine sitting by a window, a favorite book in your lap, as birds flutter outside in search of food. The world outside hums with quiet activity, and within there's a stillness that feels almost sacred. These moments, though seemingly small, are where solitude shines brightest. They remind you that joy doesn't always come from grand events or other people, but can be found in the simple pleasures of everyday life. Consider the act of birdwatching, a pastime that requires nothing more than patience and presence. As you watch a tiny sparrow hop along a branch or listen to the melodic call of a robin, you are drawn into the present moment. Similarly, reading a book allows you to escape into another world, finding companionship in characters and stories. These solitary activities are not just distractions, they are rituals that ground you in the here and now, offering a quiet refuge from the noise of the world. Yet, solitude is not about isolating yourself entirely. It's about finding balance, knowing when to step away to recharge and when to re-engage with others. Human connection remains vital, even as you learn to cherish your alone time. A quiet evening spent reflecting can be just as nourishing as a lively conversation with a friend. The key is recognizing your needs and honoring them without guilt or apology. To maintain this balance, it helps to set intentional boundaries. For example, you might dedicate specific times to solitude, such as a morning walk or an hour of journaling, while leaving space in your schedule for social interactions that bring you joy. This way, you can enjoy the best of both worlds: the serenity of being alone and the warmth of connecting with others. Neither is more important than the other. Both are essential to a fulfilling life. Solitude also has a way of strengthening your relationship with yourself. It teaches you to listen to your thoughts, to sit with your feelings, and to embrace who you are without external validation. In these moments, you discover a type of strength that is deeply personal and unshakable. You learn that your worth isn't tied to how many people surround you or how busy your calendar looks, but to the love and respect you hold for yourself. This strength is transformative. It allows you to approach social connections with authenticity, free from the need to please or perform. You can engage with others not out of obligation, but out of genuine desire, making your relationships richer and more meaningful. Solitude doesn't diminish your ability to connect, it enhances it by giving you the clarity and confidence to show up as your truest self. As you reflect on the value of solitude, consider how it has shaped your life. Think of the times when being alone brought you clarity or helped you navigate a challenging decision. Recall the small joys that solitude has revealed, whether it's the sound of rain tapping against the window or the simple act of breathing deeply in a moment of quiet. These experiences are not just moments of peace, they are reminders of the resilience and beauty within you. Embracing solitude is not about rejecting the world, but about creating a sanctuary within yourself. It's a space where you can rest, reflect, and recharge, ready to face the world anew. And in doing so, you find not just peace, but a profound sense of self-love and acceptance that transforms every aspect of your life. While solitude brings inner strength, there are times when protecting your peace means making tough choices about the people you surround yourself with. In the next section, we'll explore the power of saying no to toxic relationships and the freedom that comes from prioritizing your well-being. There comes a point in life when the cost of maintaining toxic relationships outweighs the perceived benefits. Negative connections, whether with friends, family, or colleagues, can erode your sense of peace and well-being. These relationships often demand more than they give, leaving you emotionally drained, mentally exhausted, and questioning your self-worth. As you grow older, the importance of protecting your peace becomes undeniable, and the ability to walk away from harmful connections feels less like a loss and more like liberation. The truth is that toxic relationships thrive on guilt, obligation, and fear of confrontation. You may feel compelled to stay out of loyalty or worry about hurting someone's feelings. But this pattern comes at a steep price: your own happiness and mental health. Recognizing the harm is the first step toward change. Toxic people often bring unnecessary drama, never ask how you're doing, or expect endless support without offering any in return. These dynamics, over time, chip away at your emotional reserves, leaving little room for joy or growth. Learning to say no is one of the most powerful tools in reclaiming your peace. Saying no is not an act of cruelty, it's an act of self-preservation. Establishing boundaries means identifying what behaviors and interactions are no longer acceptable and enforcing those limits without apology. For example, you might choose to limit conversations with someone who constantly criticizes you, or politely decline invitations from individuals who only take advantage of your kindness. Setting boundaries is not about shutting people out, but about creating space for relationships that nurture rather than deplete you. Investing in healthy, positive connections can be life-changing. Imagine a relationship where you feel truly seen and valued, a friendship where laughter comes easily and vulnerability is met with understanding. These are the bonds worth cherishing. Instead of focusing on salvaging relationships that bring you pain, pour your energy into those that bring you light. For instance, you might reconnect with an old friend who has always supported you, or spend more time with family members who uplift and inspire you. These are the connections that add meaning to your life, not stress. The process of letting go isn't always easy. It's natural to feel a sense of loss or wonder if you made the right choice. But as you step back from toxic relationships, you'll notice a shift, a lightness, a sense of clarity, and the freedom to focus on what truly matters. By prioritizing your well-being, you open the door to deeper connections and a more peaceful life. Walking away from toxicity is not an act of selfishness, it's an act of courage. It's choosing to value yourself enough to demand better for your time, your energy, and your heart. As you make these choices, you'll find that the relationships that remain are not just fulfilling but transformative, reminding you of the beauty and power of connection when it's rooted in mutual respect and love. With toxic relationships behind you, the focus shifts to fostering a sense of empathy and community. In the next section, we'll explore how shared experiences and mutual understanding can create meaningful bonds that enhance your life. Have you ever wondered if others feel the same way you do? It's a question that lingers, especially as we navigate the complex emotions that come with aging. The truth is, we're rarely alone in our struggles, yet sharing our experiences can feel vulnerable, even daunting. By opening up and asking others to share their stories, we create a space for connection, a reminder that our challenges are universal and that empathy binds us in ways nothing else can. One of the most powerful ways to foster empathy is to share our own truths. When we admit to feeling isolated, uncertain, or even scared about the changes age brings, we give others permission to do the same. This act of vulnerability breaks down the walls of isolation and builds bridges of understanding. Imagine a community where people openly discuss their fears, joys, and discoveries. It's in these moments of honesty that we find comfort and strength, knowing that our experiences resonate with others. Encouraging these conversations is not just about finding solace, it's about creating a ripple effect of connection. When someone shares their story, it inspires others to reflect on their own experiences. A friend's recount of rediscovering their passion for art might lead you to pick up a paintbrush for the first time in years. A neighbor's tale of embracing solitude might shift how you view your alone time. These shared narratives don't just inform, they transform, offering new perspectives and possibilities. Aging often comes with preconceived notions and rigid expectations about what life should look like past a certain age. But what if we rejected those stereotypes? What if we saw aging not as a decline, but as an evolution, a chance to redefine ourselves and our purpose? By rejecting these societal norms, we free ourselves to live authentically, finding joy and meaning in ways that feel true to who we are. This rejection of norms isn't about defiance, it's about liberation. It's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to life after 50, 60, or 65. Some find joy in quiet reflection, others in vibrant community activities. Both are valid, and neither should be judged. By fostering empathy, we allow space for these differences, celebrating the richness of diverse experiences rather than confining ourselves to narrow expectations. Imagine the world we could create by embracing empathy as a guiding principle. Communities would become places of support and celebration, where stories are shared without fear of judgment. Instead of retreating into isolation, people would reach out, finding strength in their shared humanity. This vision is not utopian, it's possible, one conversation at a time. As you reflect on your journey, ask yourself, what stories could you share to inspire others? What lessons have your struggles taught you that might help someone else? By seeking empathy and offering it in return, you become part of a larger narrative, one that reminds us all that we're never truly alone. Empathy opens the door to connection, but it also paves the way for embracing a new chapter of life with confidence. In the next section, we'll explore how aging is not an ending, but a beginning. A time to celebrate growth, wisdom, and possibility. Turning 65 is not the end. It's the beginning of new possibilities. This profound truth reframes aging as a time of growth, reinvention, and celebration. Far from signaling a decline, this stage of life offers the clarity and freedom to embrace what truly matters, unburdened by the pressures of earlier decades. It's an opportunity to honor the lessons learned while opening the door to new adventures. Looking back on the journey that brought you here, the milestones and memories come into sharper focus. You've discovered the irreplaceable value of time, choosing to spend it on the people and pursuits that matter most. Relationships have evolved, teaching you to treasure those who remain by your side while releasing the ones who no longer serve you. Trust has been tested and rebuilt, strengthening your resolve and reminding you of the beauty in connection. Even solitude, once perhaps daunting, has become a sanctuary, a space to reflect and recharge. Each of these lessons has shaped the person you are today, preparing you for the road ahead. But the beauty of this chapter lies not just in reflection, it's in action. Aging is an invitation to explore new passions, rekindle old ones, and approach life with curiosity and courage. Have you always wanted to learn an instrument, take up painting, or write a memoir? Now is the perfect time. Without the constraints of a rigid schedule or societal expectations, you're free to pursue what brings you joy. This freedom is not a luxury, it's a gift earned through years of hard work and perseverance. Embracing this new chapter also means stepping outside your comfort zone. Growth doesn't stop with age, it evolves, taking on new forms as your experiences deepen. Consider trying something that once seemed intimidating, like traveling alone, joining a community group, or speaking your mind more freely. These small acts of bravery can reignite your sense of purpose and remind you that life is meant to be lived fully, not cautiously. This stage of life also brings a unique ability to mentor and inspire others. Your story, filled with triumphs and trials, holds the power to guide and uplift those walking similar paths. Whether through volunteering, sharing your experiences with younger generations, or simply offering a listening ear, your wisdom can leave a lasting impact. By contributing to others, you find meaning beyond yourself, creating a legacy of kindness and compassion. As you move forward, approach each day with an open heart and an adventurous spirit. Set goals, both big and small, that excite and challenge you. Maybe it's planting a garden, mastering a new recipe, or planning a trip to a place you've always dreamed of visiting. Whatever it is, let it remind you that life, at any age, is filled with potential and promise. Above all, remember to celebrate the person you've become. Aging is not something to fear, but to embrace, a testament to your resilience, growth, and capacity for love. Each wrinkle tells a story, each gray hair a badge of honor. You've lived, learned, and thrived, and there's so much more to discover. As you stand at the threshold of this new chapter, take a moment to breathe it all in. The road ahead is yours to shape, filled with opportunities to grow, connect, and thrive. Turning 65 is not an end. It's a doorway to possibilities you've only just begun to imagine. So ask yourself, what will this chapter hold? What dreams will you pursue? And how will you celebrate the incredible journey that has brought you here? The answers lie within you, waiting to be uncovered as you step boldly into the next stage of life. This final reflection invites you to carry forward the lessons of the past while embracing the boundless potential of the future. It's not about leaving behind who you were, but about becoming who you're meant to be. As we journey through life, certain truths become undeniable. Time, once seen as infinite, reveals its irreplaceable value, urging us to spend it wisely on what truly matters. Relationships, too, evolve, teaching us the importance of quality over quantity and the beauty of treasuring those who stand the test of time. And with every new stage, life presents fresh opportunities to grow, discover, and embrace who we are meant to be. Turning 65 is not an end, it's a beginning, a chance to redefine your purpose and explore possibilities with clarity and confidence. This chapter invites us to reflect on the lessons learned, to let go of what no longer serves us, and to approach the future with an open heart. It's a time to celebrate the bonds that uplift us, the moments of solitude that bring peace, and the courage to say no to negativity. In doing so, we create space for joy, growth, and authentic connections that enrich our lives. But these reflections are not just personal, they're universal. We all have stories, struggles, and triumphs worth sharing. Have you discovered new passions, reconnected with old friends, or embraced the beauty of solitude? I invite you to share your journey in the comments below. Your insights could inspire someone else to take their next step with confidence and grace. Let this be a space where we celebrate not just the years behind us, but the boundless possibilities ahead. After all, life is not defined by age, but by how deeply we choose to live it. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who might benefit from this topic. Have any thoughts or personal experiences to share? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And if you haven't already, click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join our community for more empowering content. Thank you for watching, and until next time, embrace the journey with confidence.